Welcome back everyone to another series on Cold Waters. And this one we'll be playing the 68 campaign in a skipjack. Now I think this will be a shorter campaign, whether we die or whether I get frustrated and decide to shelf it. But I'll let you know how that's going as we go along. Just because I never actually showed this, I want to let you know that I'm playing on realistic. This is not the hardest, but it's not the default either. So this is how I prefer to play. I think I could go up to Elite if we did another 84 campaign, but for the 68, I'm going to leave it here. And these are just all the default settings. Now, at some point, they added in, I don't know where it is, probably under, well, I don't know where it is actually. At some point, they added in some crewman sounds. It's in beta, but right now it sounds more like a push-to-talk, a text, voice-to-text function than anything else, or a text to voice. So I'm not going to include it. We'll be playing without that until it gets smoothed out a little bit more. But without further ado, let's get into the campaign. Now I'm not going to read through all these in the very beginning, so if you'd like, you can pause and read these things, but we'll be playing in the skipjack. Now the great thing about this thing is it's extremely fast and it's extremely maneuverable. This thing turns on a dime, especially compared to the Los Angeles class. It dives faster, it surfaces faster, and really the downside of it is, with the most of the 68 stuff, it's pretty poor in terms of sensors compared to the 84 counterparts. So we will be, and this skipjack in particular is actually quite loud. There's a nice little document, somebody linked me on the Discord, on my Discord channel, with the version 1.05. It shows all the submarine stats and everything. It's really helpful for determining what kind of submarine you might prefer to take out. Now, this I feel like fits my playstyle pretty well. I kind of kamikaze into things. Now, if you're wondering if the 68 campaign will be a success, let me just tell you, I did my due diligence. I played 4 missions in the 68 campaign after my recent very quick end to the 84 campaign as the USS Los Angeles, and I had success. It's difficult, but it's fun. It's actually quite fun. I'm not sure we'll have the same success that I had in my test campaign. Of course, that never happens. I actually sank a Moskva carrier in my second mission, which was amazing. I even failed that mission because I wasn't able to sink any of the fleet tenders, But okay, let's just get into it. Who are we going to be? We will be the USS Shark. Oh, my favorite name. That's perfect, because we do plan to be, we're not even going to be as silent and as stealthy of a predator as the sharks are, but we are going to be very loud and aggressive. That's another thing I wanted to mention. Okay, so I'm not going to read through the roleplay here, the premise for the war. If you'd like to, just pause and read through this itself. We first have Red Oppression, then we have Rolling Thunder, and now we have Brezhnev Strikes Back, and then Brezhnev Strikes Again. Not too clever with these names. Brezhnev, a very striking man, obviously. So here we go. A wolf pack of enemy nuclear attack submarines is believed to be operating in and around the Denmark Strait north of Iceland. Important NATO assets will be moving into this area shortly. We are therefore to find and sink these subs before they pose a threat to our boys. Okay, well, let's just jump right into it then, shall we? Good first mission to start with. Very difficult, unfortunately, because the nuclear submarines in this era means Novembers, and this is the main submarine which is capable of outrunning our torpedoes. So I have to say this is going to be actually really challenging. But if we can succeed in this first mission, we should be able to succeed in general. Now, what's going to happen in general is that we'll be very short on torpedoes. I'm only taking 9 of the Mark 37s and leaving 15 of the Mark 16s, though, because the Mark 16s are not homing. They're free. You just free fire and fire, like you just dumb fire is what I should be saying. So they just proceed on the bearing that they are launched at. And that means that we sometimes have to launch spreads in order to strike enemy ships. We're actually going to be employing a different tactic most of the time, which I have found a moderate amount of success with. For example, in taking down that big carrier. But But that means that the Mark 37s, we don't have as much space for Mark 37s since we need a lot of these for salvo, for spreads. I'm hoping that we only need two per submarine, and that's just to... These actually do pack slightly more of a punch, I think, than the Mark 47s. Probably made up for the fact that they're so darn slow. I'm not sure about that. I'm trying to remember. It's a really nice document, the version 1.05 like Excel spreadsheet, or the spreadsheet with all the statistics about the submarines and the different torpedoes in the game, but I don't remember it. I don't have it memorized. Well, without further ado, let's actually get into the game. So, we're going to the Denmark Strait, north of Iceland, to intercept some nuclear attack submarines. Yeah, I started to talk about this. We're not going to be following the traditional sonar protocol for the Americans. The U.S. Navy really emphasized be running quiet. I mean, there they are. We are going to be doing somewhat of the opposite. Especially when it's noisy out, we don't expect our skipjack, which is actually very noisy itself. It has a noise rating of 140. Excuse me. And the enemy submarines that we'll be running into have about the same noise profile, and we can detect them first generally. But the question is detecting them at all. Sometimes we just won't even be able to detect them at all, and they'll escape. And our mission is not to let them escape. So all hands man battle stations will go rig for ultra quiet immediately. Depth of the ocean is good. We're right at the layer. Looks like we're slightly above it. We'll probably drop below then. Let's see if we can hear anything. Pretty noisy out. That means that we're probably going to have to employ my tactic. I didn't even get a bearing. Oh, we have them. Fantastic. Alright, let's determine what this is. We know it is a submarine. And probably a November. This is a November. Just as I suspected. So we're going to start making our heading towards her. Without towed array, we can be like dead on the bearing. So if we make our heading 108, that's perfect, because there's no towed array that will be blocking with the body of our submarine. So we're just going to head right at them. And they're practically dead level with us in terms of depth, which is good as well. The problem is trying to get close enough to actually launch at them. The Mark 16s, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but those are, I mean, besides being dump fire, they're surface running. Now, there is a small period of time where they float to the surface, but I think you'd have an extremely difficult time trying to hit an enemy submarine that wasn't at the surface with the Mark 16, because they're going to go to the surface quickly. And you have to launch them from above 100 feet anyway, so it's not like you can launch them down to 500 feet and let them go to the surface. Okay, so we're starting to close in on this. I don't think we're actually closing in on this November as much as we are just locating it closer to us, like getting a better sonar reading on it. Where are we? Somewhere in the waters around here is our ship. Our submarine, I should say. We are a subship. Below ship. I can't see us at all, so I'm pretty happy with the way we've started, though. Most of the time you can't even detect them. So I think it'd be best for us to stay really quiet. This is the advantage we have. The Russian submarines have terrible detection equipment. So most of the time we'll be able to detect them and even close with them a fair bit before they can do anything. Before they even have the slightest whisper of us. And we also know that there's probably another submarine here. Well, I guess we don't know. We speculate there's at least one other submarine. So this will be interesting. Gonna have to WD-40 this chair again. Now we're at a depth 300, which is certainly capable of going a little bit faster. And I think we're going to try to do that. Okay, we're doing okay. That's a good amount. And now we just watch our map, see when we can get a better solution on this. Okay. Alright. Now the important thing, the main goal of the game, slow this down, we're actually getting in the passive. The main goal of this game is to get into the baffles of this November. The only way we can succeed in sinking her is if she doesn't know we're launching a torpedo, or, yeah, basically that's it. If she doesn't know the torpedo's coming, this is our only hope. So what we're going to do is go above the layer. And we're going to start moving right at her. And then... Whoa, wow, she's really close. And this is perfect. This is how we're going to get our kills. We're going to get into her baffles. This is something that the 84 campaign does not emphasize. Definitely does not emphasize. But definitely does get emphasized in the 68 campaign. She looks like she's going to dive deep. That's just fine with us. Okay. Passing over the depth. Over, so passive, she's still able to hear us. Let's try to get above that layer to discourage. It's a very weak layer, and there's no surface duct. Let's go all stop. Very ultra quiet. Now we shouldn't be detected by passive at this point. There it is. That's what I was hoping for. We're just hanging here. Completely unnoticeable. And we have a slight drift, so we can still tilt ourselves slightly in the heading she's making. Now, even at this point, just to give you an idea, these have a maximum speed of 26. Our torpedoes only have a max speed of 17. 17. And I'm sure that these are fast enough and loud enough that they would detect him at this point. So we're just going to hang here. Slowly creeping along at 2 knots. Completely undetected, even from a range of only 2,000 yards. She could probably go flank speed and cavitate before we're able to elude, and before we're able to make contact with her, with the torpedo. That's what I'm trying to say. So, it's funny that even the passive could pick us up at all. Like, we don't have anything running on the ship. She's getting pretty darn close, though. If she goes active, she will hear us, and we'll just launch a torpedo immediately if she goes active. Beautiful, isn't it? This is what silent service really means to me. I know I talked about how like crazy, defying, active sonar, all these things. We will be getting to that soon. But for now, I'm kind of interested in trying to play the stealthy game. Our only goal, the only goal we have, is to get into her baffles. And I usually do that by just going flank speed, letting them know where I am, avoiding torpedoes, and then still getting into her baffles by using the Skipjack's incredible speed and maneuverability. But if we can do it the appropriate way, let's just start the series off right? She's down to 1,600 yards. 600 yards is just so little. It's incredible. But beautiful. It's really a beautiful moment right now. I really want to chirp my propeller very slowly just to give me a little more forward momentum because I want to drift into her baffles. By the way, yeah, we're still above the layer. It's a very weak layer. It's not going to do much for us, but it might even right now already be partly saving us from being detected. Okay? When this goes down to, oh, it's -4, -6, -4. I don't know the reason. Oh, I think maybe if our rudder's too far right, we emit more noise. No update. Maybe not. Okay, -5. We're not adjusting our ballast. I figured the ballast would release some bubbles, and that might be, it might be possible for the enemy sonar operators to hear that. Okay, let's just let this happen then. -7, 6. Let's go 1/3, give us a little speed. And I'll stop. Just gonna start drifting into her baffles. Very slowly. The November, I've always thought, is the ugliest submarine ever to exist. It's really ugly. It's noisy. I mean, it doesn't have very good equipment. Not a lot attractive about it. Keep sneaking. Uh-oh. Well, they're going to detect us very, very quickly with active, if that's what they're using, and I think they are. So we're going to very quickly try to get into her baffles. Might already be there. What's her speed? Her speed's up to 21. Active, we're almost undetectable even with active. So she might have heard something, and now she doesn't know what she heard. Alright, go ahead and dive below. Let's go get her. Haha. This will go to -50, -50 as soon as we're actually in her baffles. So we're not there yet. There it is. And now we are. Okay, and this is where the skipjack... Now, notice she's still doing 25 knots. Standard. Cavitating doesn't matter. Just get us below. We shouldn't be cavitating below 300, though. Wait, are we... Oh, head standard, okay. Okay, 440. I think 444 is the... We can go flank at 550 without cavitating. Okay, flank speed. Let's catch up with her. We do outrun her. But she really started going, which means she probably detected us even slightly. And this is where we're going to do really like the Hunt for Red October type stuff, where we try to get right up against her, and then we just wait for her to slow down. If she decides to try to clear her baffles, this is also a good time for us to try to engage. If she slows down. I mean, if she wants to hear anything, she has to slow down, right? So here we go. Speed up a little bit. Dipping and diving, I don't know why. Oh, shit. What the heck? We lost contact with her for a moment. Are we still in her baffles? Ah! I'm just time compression. Too many variables. I think she detected us. What's her speed? Oh, her speed's slow. Go. Launch. And we have to wire guide this thing in. Okay? So we have to let this has to go active very quickly. She's not speeding up yet. Come on. Let me control you. No, let me control you. Noisemaker. Her speed is already up to 18. Alright, we already lost her. Oh, wait. She's turning in. Give me control. Give me control. I think we're gonna get her. We have her. Come on. Get in there. Got her. I got her. We got her. Alright, so this is not the end of it yet. She's not dead, right? But she does appear to be taking on water. We might even see an emergency blow here to try to save her. I mean, she knows where we are. Let's go 2/3 and try to get back into her baffles. Also preventing her from launching against us very easily. I mean, she's going pretty deep. Is she gonna try an emergency blow? Let's go as flank speed so we can try to get around her. She's gonna know we're here, but if she doesn't already, then she must have a really terrible sonar operator. So she's trying to tilt towards us. But she's down pretty deep. What's her... I wonder... It's too bad they don't list here, like, her crush depth or whatever. I think she's trying to line up a shot, but... she hasn't blown ballast or anything, so... And with this damage, she might not have the crush depth or, crush depth that she normally has. She's definitely going to hit the bottom. Oh my gosh, there she goes. She's broken up. Well, that's one, but we're going to start looking, going active now ourselves, to see if there's anybody else out here. Which means we should slow down so we can actually hear something. But that is, in essence, how we're going to be playing the 68 campaign. We're going to have to slip into the baffles and look at all the pieces of the submarine. I'm sure there should still actually be a chunk on the bottom. You know, the main body of the sub implodes, so it like closes in on itself, but it doesn't just disintegrate like this. This is a little bit absurd. And this is where we're going to defy the normal naval protocol. We're going to run active frequently. One, our ship has a nose profile of I think 140, so we're almost as noisy as the darn Novembers. Like, there's plenty of ships, Foxtrot, this is a diesel electric, plenty of Russian submarines which are actually quieter than us. The Whiskey is like pretty much the Type 21 the Germans had, and it's still even 152. So it's just barely noisier than us. So I don't know. It's not going to be easy for us to find the other ships. There might not even be another ship around here. But the only way we can find out, I think, is by broadcasting that we're here and seeing if we can induce a launch. So let's head up to the surface. We'll check our ESM mast while we're up there too. Very unlikely for the other ship to be trying to hide, quote-unquote hide, in the top layer because it's a very narrow layer. It's a weak layer. There's lots of reasons why I don't think they'll be up there, but we'll go ahead and make our presence known to anyone. We were already cavitating earlier anyway. Do this pretty quickly. I'm just going to use my plane so I don't have to worry about the ballast raising us up higher. I don't want to climb closer to the surface once I get into periscope depth. Okay. In fact, go back emergency so we slow down pretty quickly. Okay, that's good. I had 1/3. Looks like we're just barely going to drift into periscope depth. Any moment now. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Up ESM mast. Anything? Nothing there. Is it above the water? Oh, it is. Okay, there it is. Didn't see it at first, but she's above. Well, let's go ahead and raise our... Nope, no reason to raise our periscope, actually. Yeah, I think that's just going to conclude the fact that there's no other surface contacts, at least. I just don't want us to lose the mission because we didn't find another ship. So we're going to go ahead and go flank speed and really try to draw out anybody else who's here. So I'm going to try to go flank speed right underneath the layer. We're not hearing anything on active anyway, so this doesn't strike me as a bad idea. Let's get below the layer. Maybe like 200 or so. Give us plenty of room to dive if we do take an enemy torpedo. Okay, that's good. We're getting any launches? This is announcing our presence in the loudest possible way. Let's form a knuckle just to make everything even more absurd. Any torpedo launches against us? No. I don't know where the other one would be. I suspect that they also were moving southwest, so let's go ahead and head southwest a bit, although we were on top of the November, so they'd probably be a little bit further south. Okay. Well, yeah, if we can't induce a launch after all this noise, then the other submarine either knows we're trying to hoodwink them into launching at us, and they're very content to escape, or there's really nobody else out here. And I'm starting to believe the latter. Okay, well, let's go ahead and leave combat, and that's it. Mission 1 accomplished. Great job, await orders. Whew, very good. Wolves driven off. So this is our first successful mission in the 68 campaign. You can see the way things are going to go. It'd be a lot of finesse maneuvering and getting really where we don't belong. Okay, so satellite photos show that an enemy task force is preparing to sail from Murmansk. Interesting. Intelligence estimates that it will make a conservative patrol in the vicinity of the Norwegian Sea, perhaps approaching Narvik, before striking out into the Atlantic. You are ordered to intercept and destroy this task force. An enemy escort of submarines should be expected. My goodness, a task force, surface task force, with an escort of submarines. My goodness. Enemy missile cruiser. Holy cow. Oh, wow, this is going to be one hell of a mission. So I'm just going to, I don't want people to put too much faith or hope or trust in this series going very long. We could just die in the next episode. If that happens, I'm totally okay with it. We'll start up a new series after that, but it doesn't matter. But I think that that's where we'll call this first episode to a close. We're going to want probably 3... You know what? Probably 4 surface-mounted torpedoes, because you do need to launch them in kind of a spread. Review our orders. We're going to go to Narvik, it said? Narvik. Okay, so we're looking for a patrol at Narvik. Alright, but I'm going to pause here. We'll call this episode to a close. So thanks so much for watching. Because this is the first video in the new series, if you wouldn't mind pressing the like button, for those of you who are following from the previous series, or any already know my channel, you know I never would ask for that, except for the first channel, the first video in the series, just to make sure that people can at least become aware of the series' presence at all. But other than that, thanks so much for watching. I hope we have a good time in this series, no matter how long it was, or it is. I was a little surprised by how long the 84 campaign series was. I was expecting like 20 videos or so, but I guess that's just once you get that ballistic missile submarine episode, you just you're forced to. I guess the game just goes to an end after that. So you don't have an option to continue the war. The Russians surrender. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and until the next episode, take care.